People seem very confused about whether or not you can control emotions. People don't even know what emotions are. In therapy, we say emotions are the things that you have the most of, but you know the least about. So let's look at what emotions are and what they aren't. Basically, they're a response, they're a meaning that you give to any given event. Say your girlfriend or your boyfriend leaves you. You can think one of two things. This is terrible, this is awful, I'll never be loved again, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Or, thank God they left me so somebody decent can come into my life. You could have a car accident and say, oh gosh, the insurance and the expense and, the drama of it all, I can't stand it, this is terrible, this is a horrible event. Or you can say, thanks goodness, nobody was injured, nobody was killed. This is a blessing. It's all about the meaning that you attach to the emotion. So, can you or can't you control your emotions? Ostensibly, the answer is no. But you really can control your emotions. But you have to know how. How many things can you do approximately that you don't know how to do? 0, right? Well, you can't control emotions if you don't know how to control them. So, to understand emotions, you've got to understand what they mean to you, what meaning you give to things. If you want to feel better about something, give it a more empowering meaning, and then you can feel good about the thing. See, even when I go through bad times, I say, hey, this isn't bad. This won't last long. This will build character. This will be a good story, and this will show off my strengths. Why build strengths if you're never going to use them, right? And then it helps me to appreciate the better times. So what I do, instead of whining, bitching, and complaining like most people do about the bad times that happen, I say, okay, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So this may be the beginning of the problem. But what we're going to do is I'm going to switch things around, and I'm just going to start working on the solution. So you always feel better when you focus on the solution versus the problem. The solution makes you feel great. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know there's a beginning, middle, and end, and you can get through it. But people that are really neurotic, average humans, right? They go and they focus on the problem, and they whine and they cry and they say, oh, why was this especially visited upon me? Don't do that. Start with the solution in mind and slowly follow it until the problem disappears. So say I've got, I slipped and I poked a hole through my wall. I can say, oh, geez, that's expensive, that's messy, it's going to take a long time to fix, blah, 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 blah. Poor me, poor me, poor me another, cry me a river, hand me a tissue. Or you can say, okay, I got to go to Home Depot, I'm going to need a spackling knife if I don't have one, I'm going to need some putty, I'm going to probably need some primer, I'm going to need some paint. This is going to take about maybe 4 or 5 hours to fix. I'll start at noontime. By dinner, this problem has disappeared. Whew, magic. And I'll have a good story to tell. Hey, let me tell you a story about a dummy that couldn't even walk through his own house without slipping and going through the wall. I'll have so much fun with that story. The value that I'll get from that will be equal to or greater than what it cost me in my time. That's how I recoup things from my losses. Matter of fact, every time I do something stupid, I learn a lesson, and then I share that lesson with you. See how it benefits a lot of people? You want to change through emotional alchemy what things mean. So give things better meanings and they'll feel different. This is what they talk about in neurolinguistic programming. Neuro, brain, linguistic, words, programming, using your words to program your mind. So how do you program your mind with words? You change the words you use to describe things. We call this your explanatory style, from the root word to explain. It's literally the way that you describe what the situation means. So if you say, hey, today's just another day in the battlefield, wow, what a horrible, disempowering way to describe your day. Now the whole day is going to feel like what? A day on the battlefield. And that's how you're going to lose one day of your life. Do this over and over again, and you can lose years and even decades like nothing. Why? Simply from a bad descriptor, which has literally just become a habit of yours. See, your brain is a dumb goal-seeking mechanism. It's always trying to make you right. It says, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I will get right on that. So when you say, hey, today is going to be just another day on the battlefield, it says, yes, sir, I will get right on that, and I will make sure, good, bad, or indifferent, no matter what happens today, you will feel like you had another day on the battlefield. But if you said, hey, today's going to be a great day, I'm going to kick butt and take names, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Even if things go wrong, you say, wow, there was this huge problem, but don't worry, Professor Paul's on it, and I'm kicking butt, and I'm taking names, and I'm going through, and I'm solving this challenge, while everybody else out there in the universe is whining and complaining about this problem. By the time they even got finished bitching about it, I already had it solved. Ha ha, rock star, hero, boom. You feel fantastic. It's not what's going on out there. Did you ever hear the expression, it's 10% what's out there and it's 90% how you take it? The meaning you give it is how you are taking it. So be very cautious about the way you describe things, the very words you use, how you picture it, because a picture's worth what? Yeah, 1,000 words. And be very, very cautious. Notice in the way you're describing and explaining things to yourself, are you working for yourself or against yourself? Are you making yourself feel better or making yourself feel worse? Are you empowering yourself or disempowering yourself? Are you encouraging yourself or discouraging yourself? Are you working in your own best favor or working against yourself? Never work against yourself. And I'll tell you, to this day, sometimes I still do it. You know what the difference between me and you is? I catch myself quicker when I'm doing it. So anytime I'm not thinking about something right, I'm disempowering myself instead of empowering myself, I'm discouraging myself instead of encouraging myself, I make the mental shift and I turn it around, catch myself, and do something different. Think about it different, perceive it different, and I immediately jump into the challenge and start beating it. I take an action immediately. Until you take an action, nothing's going to get any better. And until you can start to see things getting better, why would you ever think they're going to end? Here's how you have a permanent problem. Something bad happens in your life and you do absolutely nothing. Rarely will these things heal or go away on their own. I mean, that wouldn't be one time in 100, right? But if you start taking action, and an action creates reactions and multiple actions, it's a cause set in motion. You started to solve the problem, and therefore it goes from, really difficult or challenging or almost impossible in some cases to, hey, I'm already on the route to beating this thing. That feels so much better than sitting there crying about your problems and worrying about what's going to happen next and trying to figure out why these things always happen to you. You know why they always happen to you? Because they happen to everybody. Hey, if you're loving this content, if you're benefiting from it, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'd love it if you hit that share button. I want to shoot this out to as many people as humanly possible so that more people can benefit from it. And what a great thing for you to do for them as a friend. Now, some people are solving these and some people are complaining about these. I can tell you which feels better, and I can tell you which one I would recommend to a friend. So get out of the problem and get into the solution. Be very careful about how you describe and how you explain things to yourself. The meaning you give to things is going to create the emotion. This is true like 98% of the time. Now, there's a small 2%, I'll give you as a caveat. It's subliminal. Things that are internalized so deeply they're unconscious. So they're subliminal. They're beyond the conscious, right? They're unconscious or subconscious, whichever term you like to use. I use them interchangeably. They're the same darn thing. They're things that, maybe you don't even have an awareness of. There was some early childhood trauma or something like that you've completely forgotten about. Maybe it happened when you were 3 or 4 years old and it just comes up for you. Or something reminds you of something that, hey, you do remember, but you didn't realize you were making that link or association between these two things. And all of a sudden you felt bad or you felt down. It was unconscious. But I'll tell you, if you want to nail like 95 to 98% of all these problems, simply change the meaning and start focusing on the solution. Stop focusing on the problem and you'll feel fantastic. That's my wish for you.